We have taken a detailed look at the concept of autotrophic nutrition in the previous video. Now let's talk in detail about the heterotrophic nutrition. So these are all organisms which derive nutrition from various sources. They are unable to synthesize their own food like the autotrophs. One parameter based on which the heterotrophic animals are classified is the mobility of food source. What does this mean? Let me give you a couple of examples. In the case of herbivorous animals, the source of nutrition is stationary, that is, the plants and the grass. But in animals which are carnivorous, the food source is obviously motile. So this is just a simple way of classifying animals. The food source is either stationary or motile. Wait, based on this, can we say that all animals are heterotrophs? Yes, absolutely. Now let me ask you another question. Does it work the other way around too? Can we say that all heterotrophs are animals? No. The simplest definition of heterotrophs says that they are organisms which derive nutrition from other sources. So apart from animals, can you think of some organisms which thrive on other organisms? Think for a moment. Yes, several types of fungi can be included in this category. But we know that fungi do not kill the organisms. Instead, they derive nutrition from the dead and decaying organic matter. So this gets us to the fact that all heterotrophic organisms can also be classified into different types. Let's study these types with respect to the pattern of nutrition consumption. This is another parameter based on which we can classify heterotrophic organisms. The first category is that of organisms which break down their food outside their bodies. And then they directly absorb the broken down nutrients. Organisms like fungi belong to this type. They break down the organic matter from dead and decaying bodies of plants or animals. This organic matter is then absorbed by them. Such a type is also referred to as a saprophytic nutrition. Now, if this was one type where the food breakdown occurred outside the body, can you guess the next type? Yes, the one in which the digestion occurs inside the body. And who else can be a better example than humans in this category? So this type has all the organisms like us that consume whole foods. This food is then broken down inside their bodies. The process of food digestion is then completed by absorbing the nutrients into the bloodstream. Such a type is usually referred to as the holozoic nutrition. Now let's talk about the last type. In both the cases, if you noticed, the source of nutrition is always dead. That is, the organisms either kill the other organisms or thrive on the ones which are already dead. However, in the last type, we have a different scenario. This type has organisms which do not kill the host. Instead, they derive nutrition from the organisms that are alive. Yes, you heard me right. The leeches that scare us in the forest, the lice that trouble many by living on the scalp are all the examples of such organisms. What are these organisms called? They are called parasitic organisms. Although they do not kill the host, they do harm them severely. This is how we categorize heterotrophic organisms on the basis of mode of consumption of nutrients. The three types include saprophytic, holozoic, and the parasitic nutrition. In the upcoming videos, let's get introduced to the process of digestion in detail.